Okay, rolling. Oh, I started to argue this with Gary last week, respectfully, by the way. And the notion that the human race is doomed, that any race, life form, anywhere in the universe is doomed to failure once they reach the stage of technological advancement, because when they do, they push the button and blow themselves to smithereens via nuclear weapons. Okay. And which is why we're not hearing any radio transmission, which is why we're not getting any signal from any pulsar that we can identify definitively. I would think if somebody were assumingly billions of years older than we are and were able to do something like send a signal to the rest of the universe saying, hey, we are here, they could then, you know, it wouldn't be too difficult for them, assumedly, with that kind of power or technology, to create a situation where a pulsar could send off a repeater signal, for instance, that was an irrational number, or perhaps the sequence of pi up to maybe 36 digits, where it then becomes you know, irrelevant, and then repeats itself, so that it's definitive and that we know as that it is actually a signal. Yet we're receiving none of these anywhere in the universe. There is nothing out there that we can say for any, give any value to, any credence to anything at all other than us being out there. And so we are just moments away in the grandiose of a history of our planet from annihilating ourselves. I mean, we're just there. We're at that point now. We've and there's some arguments to that, but I would have to stop to consider for one moment what the universe really is. Well, it really is mostly stuff that we have absolutely no idea what the fuck it is. What we're able to see is approximately, I think it's what, 2% or less than 2% or something like 4% or something. The rest of it's dark matter. We have absolutely no instruments to detect what this shit is. We don't know what it is. Okay, with that said, and let's go ahead and make this leap of faith. Let's say that there's a civilization a billion years older than we are, and they are able to communicate with other civilizations somehow. In what realm is that going to happen? Is that going to happen in our lousy little measly 2% of what we can actually perceive, even with our most sophisticated instruments? I would tend to think that a civilization would exist not in the 2%, but I would give it a 98% chance that any civilization that can do this sort of communication, or at least exist, do so in some other area that we cannot even detect. As a matter of fact, why would they even bother with this lousy 2% anyway? It's like us sitting in a mud hut playing bongos, you know, and expecting to, and we're listening for other bongos, and there's no other bongos out there to hear. We're not hearing anything. Oh, well, there could be no other, there's nobody else on this island because we're not hearing any bongos. Okay, well, there's somebody else on the island, but there happens to be you know, jet aircraft flying overhead, and they're communicating via radio transmission, whatever they're doing. We can't hear that. We don't have a receiver for that. I mean, come on. I mean, where some isolated community has absolutely no idea that there's anything like a commercial airliner, because we're Ubangis, someplace, some tribe in South America who is waiting for, we want penicillin. You know, I mean, we just don't have any clue as to what that 98% is. So our conclusion that simply because we are not getting any signal from anywhere in the universe that there is anybody else in the universe, given our lousy 1.5% to 3% or whatever it is of our consideration of what we know, does not mean that there's something, that there's not anything else out there. I mean, it's, to conclude that would just be ludicrous in my opinion. Respectfully submitted. Later.